Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
No, let me finish.
Welcome to Let Me Finish, the weekly podcast where we discuss what the hell's going on in pop culture, current events, and everything else in between.
We are your hosts. I'm Janice.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Jillian. Grab a glass of wine and let's get started. All right, welcome back. This is episode 15 of Let Me Finish. I'm your host, Jillian.
I'm Janice.
I'm Stacy.
All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to discuss what we did this week. I had a pretty chill week. It was just work. And then Friday, I went out with my friends for a happy hour at City Work. So nice little decompress from the work week.
City Work at the Star?
The Star, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there. Well, I actually had a pretty fun week. Well, I guess I just went out last night. I went to see Michael Rapaport. Mm-hmm. He's a stand-up comedian. He does a lot of movies and shows, and he was in the most recent one thing I've seen him in is Atypical. He was the dad in Atypical on Netflix. So funny.
I haven't watched that.
It's a funny show. It's about a boy. He's the main star, and he's on the spectrum, and it's basically like how their family, handles that, how they've just adjusted around that, and how they're tighter bond, I feel like, because of it. But it's like a comedy, but like serious. It's a funny show.
Dramedy.
Yeah, it's a dramedy for sure. And I went to see him at Addison Improv stand up on yesterday. So.
Stacey, did you get an invite?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But then again, I'm flaky, so y'all tell me all the time that
I went
flaky,
with my friend Ashley. She asked me like 2 weeks ago if I wanted to go.
I know exactly who you were with.
Oh.
Okay.
My bad. Next time.
Sure.
But me and Ashley definitely like to go watch stand up. We definitely.
I actually enjoy stand up too.
Me as well. Just for FYI future reference.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. My bad, Ashley. When you listen, we need to make sure we invite my two beautiful ladies with us next time.
Thank you. Please and thank you.
And because I'm also reading Beautiful Disaster, which we talked about last week, and everybody wanted to be in on that, and nobody read the book.
I mean, it's a quick read. It's not that I can.
Are you gonna read it?
Probably.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not going. I don't have time to read the book.
You're the main one.
You don't have to.
I'm busy. I'm deep into my move.
Yes.
Oh, guys, today's Easter. We have to tell everyone Happy Easter.
I know. Happy Easter. We're recording on Sunday, even though the episodes come out on Wednesday, but we will record on Sunday. So happy Easter.
We're drinking mimosas.
Yes.
Is that a good thing? That's for me in church right now.
I mean,
more drinking.
Jesus drank wine.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
Trust me, people after Easter will go out to brunch to restaurants and they'll be having their alcoholic beverages.
True. Yeah, for sure.
Celebrating with family. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you're younger. The drunk uncles and aunts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On Easter Sunday when you have your little lunch.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. For me, that my kids are older, so when they were younger, sure, Easter was a bigger deal because obviously Easter egg hunts and baskets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now that they're older, I'm like, I woke up this morning, I forgot it was Easter.
Oh, you forgot?
Okay.
I definitely didn't forget it was Easter.
I really didn't forget, but it's not the same as it
when you have little kids.
When they were
right.
younger.
I had a girl at work, which I mean, it's fine. She was just like, "What is Good Friday?" I was like, "You've never thought to ask that question before? Now you're like 28."
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, is she?
But I guess
Christian?
I'm saying, yeah. Apparently, I mean,
If she's a Christian.
I was like, okay, well, I told her what it was about, but I just thought it was funny.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was my week. I mean, more interesting than usual, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, that would have been a nice little comedy show to see.
Would have been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the girl that was his opener, I feel like y'all would have really liked her. She was.
Her name?
I can't remember. I have to look it up. But she was like a little more raunchy and over the top. But I think, I like over the top and raunchy when it comes to stand-up.
Me too. Oh, speaking of stand-up specials, I guess Monique finally got a deal with Netflix.
Oh,
anybody listen to it?
Oh, no.
I don't think
I
Monique
thought she
is
was
that
over
funny,
Netflix.
though. I don't think, to me, she's not that funny.
Okay, so
She is over the top, though.
Yeah, but I don't think she's funny.
Me either.
She's been funnier in the past. Because I remember her. She had the one where she was in the jail. The special when she had her.
I didn't think that was funny.
I thought it was.
I didn't think that was funny.
I think that was her peak funniness, and then after that, it was kind of like, I don't know.
I think Monique just has the same material over and over and over.
I think that's what it is. We've all heard her material before. And then I was on Facebook, and one of my friends that I follow on Facebook, she said that literally 10 minutes into the comedy special, she's just like, every other word was just a cuss word, so she couldn't really get into it. And so she just stopped, and she was asking, hey, is anybody watching this, and did anyone else find it not funny? So I was just like, I didn't do the Chris Rock special because I
do want to watch that.
I heard that was not good either.
I do want to watch it though, just so I can hear the Will Smith comments.
Well, that's the thing. What I heard was that pretty much he really didn't say anything for a whole year. And pretty much what he did was he didn't really go after Will Smith. He went after Jada, pretty much calling her a bitch. And I was just like, so you had behind it. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to let you do that. We're not going to blame Jada for Will's actions.
Blame her, but she's a culprit.
No.
Yep.
No. Did she put a gun to Will's head and say, go slap him?
I didn't say that.
Then it's not her responsibility.
She's a culprit.
How is she a culprit?
Should add it to the situation.
No.
Yep.
How?
How?
Elaborate.
By not stopping her husband when he was running up there.
No. Will is a grown man. It is not her responsibility to control his behavior.
I didn't say that he shouldn't get all the consequences, but you're a culprit because I'm not going to allow my husband to do something. Yeah, allow. At the very least, you're going to see me trying to stop him because that's an approach. Like, what are you doing? No, sit down.
Do you think she knew he was going to get up there? Did she think
she cheered it on?
She knew ahead of time that he was going to slap him?
She cheered it on.
Okay, so the man hurt her feelings and she's allowed to be like, you know what? Damn, fuck you. Screw you.
Violence is not the answer.
I mean, I'm just
saying. For him to do it or for you to cheer it on.
But I should have, my thing was for his comedy special, if he was going to address the situation, he should have been addressing Will, not Jada.
Both. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Well, he should have had that energy. And I just find it funny that he had that energy for Jada and not for Will.
He had that energy for Jada beforehand, which is where it all started.
Exactly.
Before.
But guys, we didn't actually watch it, so really don't know. Because I did hear that he did address Will. So
he did address Will, but the majority of when he addresses the situation is directed towards Jada.
Well, did you watch it?
She did not.
No, and I won't be.
So here's the thing.
So how do you know that's true?
Exactly.
Like I said, I've seen clips
and not proper,
and I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen clips. But at the end of the day, I feel like with what's his name, Chris Rock. Now that people have analyzed,
either, so
like he's over the top as well.
Once people have actually analyzed his comedy, I realize, oh shit, he actually has some problematic things he said, and I'm just like, people pointing out, I'd be like, damn, you're right.
Okay, well, then no more problematic than Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle, but he's funny.
But this is comedians. I feel like so the thing I have with people coming for comedians and the things they're saying and saying it's problematic, saying it's hurting people's feelings, it's comedy. Like that is literally what it is. You're not supposed to sit there and
allowed to
that's
say
their art. So
okay,
if you
that's
don't
fine.
like, so I think it's really unfair that people sit there and now have taken it, because this has been the same messages for decades, and it's all of a sudden.
No. I'm just saying, yes, it is your art, but your art is allowed to be critiqued. And Dave Chappelle,
not cancel culture wise,
Dave Chappelle will not stand down. He says what he says, and he stands behind it.
And
it's funny.
And he's funny. Like
I love Dave Chappelle.
When it comes to, like I said, when it comes to comedians, they definitely are on the pulse of what's going on at that time, and that's how they cater their jokes, is whatever is going on in society at that time. Funny thing, speaking of Dave Chappelle, I was watching the Surviving R. Kelly documentary on Netflix, part 3, and they were talking about, the trial and the verdict and all that, and they talked about, man, we were really fucked up because we've been knowing who R. Kelly was, and they kept referencing, oh, you remember that Dave Chappelle joke about, I'm gonna piss on you whenever, all that stuff.
From years ago.
He made a whole video.
The whole thing about it.
And it was just like, we all laughed at it. I'm like, yeah, we did. We did all laugh at it, knowing that what he was doing was to a minor. And like I said, it was funny at the time.
Just Dave Chappelle. Everybody knew long before Dave Chappelle did that. There was a whole court case about it where everybody brushed it under the rug. So why is it Dave Chappelle's responsibility?
I'm just saying that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're all guilty of that. We all found it. We all took the joke. Like Blackmore referenced that. And I'm just saying, in hindsight, now that we've had more context and more information, like I said, I've never seen the tape. I don't know this girl. I was wrong. I'm gonna say I laughed and I thought that stuff was funny. And now in hindsight, when you actually see the victims and hear them talk about what he did to them, and they actually went into more details since everything's coming on in trial, I'd be like, damn.
Because you watched it when it came out on Netflix. I watched it when it came out on Lifetime. The last one.
Yeah, so the part 1 and 2 I watched.
No, the number 3 came out on Lifetime a couple months ago.
I don't have Lifetime.
I read the book, Daddy's Little Freak, where one of his victims wrote a book.
It was.
I read that book.
I believe
way before any of this stuff came out. I read that.
I believe it was Geronda. I believe
think so.
It was Geronda because she covered her name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that book.
Yeah, I read it.
but
I'm just saying, when it comes to comedians, like I said, I've been guilty of that, laughing at stuff that was inappropriate. And
there were comedians making fun of 9/11. I mean, that's what comedians do.
I understand that. It's just
when we get on this argument, y'all. We were just listen. Can I say who my favorite comedians are?
Okay, who's your favorite comedian?
Girl, Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams. Girl,
Cat was
fun.
Cat Williams is always funny.
Cat Williams hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying. I just didn't like the energy.
Say Michael Rappaport. If you're talking about people talking about cussing, he was cussing like a sailor the whole time.
No, I don't mind cussing. I don't mind
cussing.
I'm just saying that I did see the clip from her comedy special, Monique's comedy special. She talked about coming to her husband, which I find it very creepy that she calls him daddy.
They have an open relationship apparently.
Okay, and then she talked about how she wanted to bring a woman into their relationship and that she was into. I'm like I said, I don't kink shame. So if you want to do that, go ahead. I find her and her husband's whole dynamic very weird.
Questionable.
Interesting.
Questionable. Very questionable. And I might link back to
not your
her.
But she said it's her idea, that she's the one that wants to bring someone else in. And that's why they have an open relationship.
Not that the fact they have the open relationship. Like I said, every time she calls her, she doesn't say my husband or, her husband's name or it's always daddy. And I find
he's much younger than her, right? You calling him daddy? I believe so.
I don't know his age versus her age. I think he is younger, but how much younger, I don't know. But I've always found that, first of all, that whole dynamic between...
I'm not a Monique fan, so, I mean...
like I said, that comedy special she had at the women's prison, I thought was very funny. She did a really great job.
Her Netflix movie that she had that I watched a couple months ago was good. She was...
What Netflix
It was like this movie I just watched with her on Netflix, I think, and it was like a horror movie.
Oh, I thought that was on BET.
Oh, was it BET? I thought I saw it on Netflix. It was funny. It was good. It was a horror, but it was good.
Oh, okay.
Like her whole family gets killed. And then...
Oh, yes. I think I saw clips on that on TikTok.
Oh.
I didn't actually go and watch it.
She acted her ass off. She
Oh,
was crazy. Bitch was crazy in that movie, but I was like, see, that's the Monique I like.
Okay.
Oh, I think I did see that Netflix movie. Yeah, it was funny. Like, I like the actress Monique, not necessarily the stand-up Monique.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just, like I said, their whole relationship is kind of sus at best for me, but like I said, whatever, that's their business. But it's not mine. But
I just think as far as Chris Rock goes, I think he has the right to address it in his stand-up. It's something that happened to him.
No, I'm not saying that he doesn't have a right to address the situation. I just felt like if 90% of what you're addressing is to the person who did not slap you, then I have a problem.
But Jada had a lot. Okay. Jada had a lot to say about him in social media as well.
And people were asking her that question. She addressed it on her
Red Table
Talk.
Her answers.
And Will came in and addressed it, whatever. They moved on. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying that he can't address it, but you need to address who actually slapped you. Just because he didn't slap me
doesn't mean there was not other things that did not bother me or him.
Y'all, can we move on from this,
yeah,
please?
we can.
Okay, it's just when it comes to Chris Rock and everything, the vitriol he has towards Jada, I just find it very sus. It just seems like he seems way too obsessed in bringing her down and
Because I
tearing
think
her
it
down.
has a lot of history behind it too, and history we're not privy to.
Okay. I'm just, yeah, okay.
I feel like Will should have had the same energy for August Alsina when he was. Yeah.
I do believe that too.
In
I
what way
think
did
Chris
August
Rock did
Alsina disrespect Jada?
August Alsina was sleeping with Jada. You're gonna take your anger out on.
Like I said, from what I saw on Red Table Talk, they were separated. She had a situationship,
an entanglement
with him, and she decided to go back to her husband, and they decided to work it out. They knew that it wasn't a hidden thing. He knew about it, and they decided to work on their marriage and stay together. But
I don't
that's
even think
not
they're
a here
together.
there.
Actually, I don't really think.
Okay.
I heard a lot more back to Jada and Will that we're just not privy to. That relationship
Yeah,
is,
I mean-
is that relationship is sus.
Okay, well,
I don't think they're together. I think they're just together
if
on
it-
paper and with their
if it
money,
works-
but I don't
Yeah.
think they're together.
For
yeah,
whatever arrangement they have, it works for them. Are you happy?
I don't know if it works for them because you're over here slapping people on national TV.
Thank you.
No.
So it might not work for you.
Let's move on, y'all. But yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and discuss our main topic. Dive into our main topic. We decided to go ahead and talk about what happened with the NCAA Women's National Championship with LSU and Iowa. Just to recap, at the end of the game, Angel Reese on LSU decided to pretty much match energies with Caitlin on Iowa and did the John Cena, you don't see me kind of hand wave and pointed to her ring finger, saying that she's going to be a national championship. So after the national championship aired, it started going all over Instagram and Twitter, calling her classless because she did that. And there was a clear divide between reactions from people of color versus white people. And I immediately called them like, we have got to talk about this on the podcast, because I felt like when Caitlin did it, the previous game to South Carolina, which was actually last year's national championship team, whenever her team won, she did the same exact thing with the, you don't see me, John Cena thing to South Carolina. And then also, during the game, she actually waved off one of their players, pretty much telling her, you're not even worth guarding you.
I'm not even going to guard you.
Yeah. So, LSU actually had stated prior to the game that, they thought that Iowa was being very disrespectful when they played them, a very good team, and didn't really show them enough respect, they felt in their minds.
But also, it was funny because whenever Caitlin was doing the whole John Cena move, right, everyone was like, oh, she's so cool, she has so much swag and stuff. But the minute that a person of color does it, it's like she's classless, she's ghetto.
Yes.
To
Exactly.
me, it was, I don't know. I didn't like how they made it seem like she's just this classless person for doing that. Come on, it's a competitive sport. I didn't see anything wrong with what she did, especially
Exactly.
if she wasn't even the one that started it. This is something that the other Caitlin has been doing before. There's videos of her doing it before.
Right. And I felt like if you didn't have a problem when she did it 48 hours prior, then you shouldn't have a problem. If you weren't calling Caitlin classless when she did it to South Carolina, which I do have to mention that Iowa is a predominantly white team, or at least her starting players are white, and South Carolina is a predominantly black team as well as LSU.
So, okay, for me, Caitlin has been doing this all season.
Right.
From my understanding, it was like, that's how she reacts on the court.
Right.
And then Caitlin also came up and doubled down with Angel and was basically like, I don't see anything wrong with what she did. We're players, energies are high. And she pointed out, which I think is the issue. If this was March Madness for men and they were doing that, and they do that, It's never talked about. Why is it that if it's a woman, and especially a black woman, now it's classless?
Well, that was the thing for me. I don't appreciate them calling her classless or calling her ghetto or whatever. Listen,
sports.
It's sports. She won. She has all right to gloat if she wants to. This is not nothing new.
That's what I'm saying. She didn't do anything out of the ordinary to me.
I don't think so. And another thing that really pissed me off about this whole situation was the fact that after it was over and obviously LSU won, Jill, First Lady,
Yep.
invited both teams to come to the White House. And for me, it was like a slap in the face almost to LSU, because I'm like, okay, hold up now. The winning team, you can go back as far in history as you want to. The winning team is the one that
gets invited to the White House.
You don't the losing team does not get to go in the act of sportsmanship.
Do you think this was because, though, she thought, okay, because of the controversy, let me not split them up or divide them more?
No, that's not. I don't think that's why she did it. I think she did it because she probably felt like she probably felt like Iowa deserved to be there, but that's not how it works. They lost
because she tried to come to the locker room for both teams, right?
She did, and before the game started, she did, because I saw an interview with Angel Reese, and she said yes, before the game started, that they did reach out and they wanted to come to both teams' locker rooms. She said that she didn't know whether or not they went to Iowa, but she said, this is what Angel said, that they said no, they did not want her to come to the dressing room, which I think this is very petty and this is poor sportsmanship. She said the reason why she did not want them to come to the locker room is because I guess Biden didn't even have their team on the bracket.
On the brackets, yeah.
I'm like, that's so stupid, but you're here now. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter what people thought. I mean, plenty of people didn't think your team was going to get as far as it did, right? Mm-hmm. You're here now. If they want to come to your locker room before the game, I mean, so then why that's petty.
Yeah, no, it was petty.
Yeah, when it comes to this, I feel it comes down to one thing. We always want to paint white women as the victims and black women as the angry black women. That's really, I think people put those two ladies in that role because they're not comfortable seeing her celebrate and being happy about her win and really honestly matching Caitlin's energy. That's what I felt that's how it came down.
And okay, so I can understand where you're coming from on that, but again, I feel like this is more of a male versus female.
It wasn't. It was definitely a race. The media made it a race issue. People made it. I don't think the two players made it a race issue. I definitely think, though, the way older white male were coming for Angel Reese. I mean,
because if it had been Caitlyn that won and she did that, there would have been nothing said.
Absolutely not. They'd have been like, oh yeah, how cool. Like, no. This was definitely, I don't care what anyone says, this was definitely a race issue.
And like I said, from what I read, Caitlyn had problematic behavior. No, I say problematic because, again, this is sports. So if you can't handle a little jarring in sports, then get the hell out of the sport. Or stop watching, because that's what people get fined for doing touchdown dances in the end zone and stuff that are inappropriate. Like, it happens. This is sports. People get into freaking knockout dragouts on the NBA court. What's the problem?
That's the problem. There isn't a problem, because whenever Angel did it, it was a problem. When Caitlyn did it, it wasn't a problem. It was definitely and it can't be a woman's issue, because when Caitlyn did it, it was cool.
It's a race issue.
It's a race issue. That's the big difference between the two is the race issue. And I think, like I said, I feel like a lot of I went through and I read the comments class list, and I was just like,
some people even had death threats against her. Okay.
And I looked, what I did was I actually looked at the actual profiles. It was mostly white people saying this stuff, and I feel like, sorry to say, but I feel like they were trying to put her in her place because they felt she was being uppity.
An uppity Edward.
Exactly. That's exactly what was going on, and it's sad to say that she cannot just be happy. She just won a national championship and she had every right as the winner of that game to feel like that. And then I just don't understand. Oh, actually, I do understand why they felt like that, because I felt like if Iowa was a predominantly black team, it still wouldn't have been an issue. The issue wasn't that. They just felt like you as a black woman having won and beaten a white girl, that was a problem, and you didn't act accordingly.
They felt like, yes, you won, but you need to you should humble yourself.
Exactly.
And I'm like, she doesn't have to humble herself. She won, and she wants to gloat. She can. I mean, come on, like this, and just to put it out there, I don't think anything that Caitlyn did was wrong. Or what Angel, and it's sports.
To me,
that's
okay.
what sports is about.
So to me, okay, how it's an example of, because I mean, how Angel reacted. I mean, she doubled down on what she said and how she acted, and I think she should have. But sometimes, stirring the pot more isn't always the best course of action.
She did stir the pot more after the fact.
Because I mean, we all know where we live, right, and how this world is. This is the world we live in. So again, I don't always believe that it's something to, you're gonna get your point across or get your voice heard certain ways. So even like with Sakari Richardson and what she did, what happened with her, I thought that was wrong when they banned her or took her out of those races, because but at the same time, media training is important when you're in the spotlight, and I do think that some of these girls need some media training. Because I think
she does.
For how Caitlyn came out and said what she had to say, she has some media training. That was clear.
I will say, Angel Reese, yes, she does talk too much. She needs to learn when to be quiet. I had no issues with what she did. I had no issues for her speaking up and saying, well, you don't need to defend yourself.
You don't have to defend
but what
yourself
I have an issue with her, what my issue with, after the whole incident, and we were past that, and then the whole White House incident happened, and then all of a sudden she was like, I don't accept your apology. And I mean, come on, you didn't have to say all that. Okay, whatever. Y'all were going there. Now you're backtracking and say, okay, well, I'm going because I'm the team captain. I'm also a team. I'm being a team player. So she's going.
No, she said no.
She said, I'm going to support my team because I'm the team captain.
No. Mind you, when it was Jill that said that it wasn't an actual official invite, and what she said that she did not.
She said we're not going.
She said that. She said we're not going. But she's like, I do not accept your apology, because I guess Joe Biden tried to backtrack and be like, oh, sorry, boo, boo, boo. She said, I don't accept your apology. Now, I knew they were going to go. For what they were going to go to the White House.
Again, Angel's not the decision maker.
Exactly.
So she had no right to say that.
Exactly. And I think she was just doing it out of anger. And I feel like
media training.
Not even so much media training, that it just needs to be when it comes to being always having to monitor what you say. And I feel like in a way, black women do have to monitor in a way that other people don't.
Maybe
and I don't think that's fair.
Maybe that could be true. Yes, well, absolutely.
I don't necessarily think. I think I don't think that's a black or white thing, because if you look at how Caitlyn responded to the whole thing, clearly she had media training.
Exactly.
For me, if you're a person that's in the limelight, like Angel Reese is, right? She has a lot of responsibility on her because she's also the team captain. So she, not because she's black, but because of the position that she's in, she has to be very careful of what she says, how she says things, and when she says things.
Right, because they were wrong. They were wrong on how they treated her. Absolutely. But your reaction matters. Because here's the thing. It is a lot of times, sometimes what you say is 100% right, but if your delivery is off, it literally almost negates what you were saying. So you have to, and that's as an adult, and as a woman, adult as a black woman, that's just something you have to take on, and that is just it.
I mean, I guess for me, at the end of the day, she was speaking 100% facts.
She was, and her delivery was wrong.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. And I hate that she has to change who she is, because she said that from day one, they've always told her she was ghetto, she was this, she was that, trying to minimize her voice. And then she's like, you know what? No, I'm going to be unapologetic. I'm going to be 100% me. You may not like the delivery, but what she said was 100% the facts.
I get that, but I'm saying sometimes 100% unapologetically you, people can't swallow that down. It doesn't mean they have to either. So you have to understand that too, because there's a lot of people who are who they are. It doesn't mean I have to like you. Sometimes doesn't mean that. It also means that I can have a reaction to things that you say. So think about those kind of things. I mean, in my work life, okay, I'm in management, I'm executive management, right? So I have to watch what I say. I can't react the same way as everybody else, because I put the company or organization as a school in a certain situation because of my level, because of my voice. So you
Completely
have to
agree.
watch those kind of things. And that includes her. Like Sakari Richardson. I don't think what she said and did was that wrong. Yes, what you did was wrong. And I know that other people have been given a pass. But your reaction to it is not the way to get what you want. That's the thing.
And it's not a black or white issue when it comes to this. But when you're in a certain position, a certain level, and you're representing an organization, you do have to be careful of how you say things. Yes, you can be 100% unapologetically you and be real and all that. But think about your team as a whole.
But understand there's going to be a reaction to 100% authentically you. And it might not be the reaction you want.
Okay, so when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like it doesn't matter how she had delivered it. It would have been a problem.
I get that. But don't add to the problem by giving them a reason to say, this is what I'm talking about.
And see, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter how she could have been, because we all as black women know we have to code switch whenever we're in that predominantly white space. And especially when dealing with the media, it's predominantly white space. So she has to code switch and she's like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I think the biggest example is Barack Obama. No one had more class and more dignity in Michelle, yet they found ways to still tear them down. And, they're sitting there calling Michelle a gorilla in heels.
And you can never take away the fact that Michelle Obama had class throughout that whole entire situation.
Exactly.
You cannot take that away from her.
And I'm not trying to take that away from her. It said it doesn't matter how much class you have. You're always going to be torn down. So whether you are that ghetto girl who's unapologetic or, what you deem as classy, it doesn't matter how we react. It will always be the same outcome.
Okay, well, for you to say it doesn't matter, that's not true.
So you just want her.
Not true.
So you feel like she should just stay ghetto and be like, we ain't going, period. I don't accept your apology. I think that's wrong. Honestly, that's wrong. I felt like that was not necessary to say. If the first lady is apologizing to you, even if you don't accept it, just be like, I don't want to speak on that right now, or just whatever. But I mean, going on national TV and saying, we ain't going, period, and I don't accept your apology and blah, blah, blah. Listen, you're representing a whole entire team here.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter how she reacted. She could have had the perfect response. The outcome would have been the same. It doesn't matter. It's not her actions.
Okay,
that's the problem.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. She could have been like, I don't have any comments. Or she could have been like, I accept your apology. We'll be there with bells on. It would have been the same exact reaction.
What outcome?
As far as calling her classless, and
they were calling her classless about. We were beyond that. We were beyond that at this point.
I agree with you. I do 100% agree with you in that. What you just said does not matter what she said or how she said it. They would have, the same people who had that reaction simply because of the color of her skin would have had the same reaction simply because of the color of her skin. I'm only just saying, don't give him any skin in the game. Don't give it to him, because at the end of the day, that's what they want to say. See, that's exactly what I said. And I just don't like to give people that kind of ammo against me, because at the end of the day, when I break it down, I'm going to be right. And it's not going to be, you can't come back and say, well, look at what you said, or look at what you just did, or look what you just tweeted. No,
I don't know.
Let's concentrate on exactly what you did, because I didn't do anything.
For me, she represents an entire organization, right? She's a team captain. I just felt like after the incident happened in the beginning, after all that happened, she should have just took a step back, whatever. Understand that she was upset, and she had all right to be upset about it.
She should.
Everybody was upset about it for her, right? But certain comments that were made after that, they did not have to be made. And I'm pretty sure they're towards the end when she came back and said, yes, we are going to go, right? There were phone calls were made, and she said, I am supporting my team. We're going to go as a team. That right there tells me that someone must have said something to her. That shows PR training. She should have said that from the very beginning, and this would all been avoided. But I get, I mean,
maybe not avoided.
But I get what you're saying. That no matter what she did, they would have still had something to say about her. But it's sad that as black women, sometimes we have to take the high road.
I mean, I understand. And like I said, we always do. And sometimes I'm just like, screw it. I don't want to take the high road. And at the end of the day, like I said, she's a young woman. She will learn and mature how to navigate this whole media thing, because she's a great player, and hopefully this will translate into a professional career for her. So I just hope all the best for her. But at the end of the day, I feel like she did the best she could with the situation. It's a crappy situation, and at the end of the day, she didn't do anything wrong. You might not like how she delivered it, but at the end of the day, I felt like she said what she said, because at the end of the day, she felt like she wasn't welcome.
Right. No, I get that. And I want to also add that I don't think the issue had anything to do with the two players. The issue was how the people, like the media, made it into an issue, because they're both great players. Taking nothing away from Caitlin, she's an awesome and amazing player. And I don't think the issue is with the player. Is we made it to a bigger deal than we made it into a race issue, and we shouldn't have.
Not necessarily black people, but
right. That's what I'm saying.
So we just wanted to jump on and talk about that real quick. And I think that's all we have to say for today. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No, just, again, I think it's just about watching what you also say. They were wrong. They were wrong.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm like, Black Queen, keep your head up. Don't let these people bring you down, and just keep moving.
Happy Easter, y'all.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the platform you're listening on, and leave us a review.
We want to support local businesses, so if you'd like us to shout out your business, or if you have a topic suggestion, or even questions for our QA section, we want to hear from you. So reach out to us at letmefinish@gmail.com.
You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Let Me Finish. Don't forget that the E in me is the number 3. You can find me at New Jillian Who Dis on Instagram. Stacy, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Mrs. Cams01. I'm also on TikTok, Mrs. Cams01, MRSKAMS01.
And Janice, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Uniquely Janice, and Facebook and TikTok, I'm just Janice Housen.
Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
See you guys then.